Hello everyone.
We are students from St. Nicholas Girls' School, and today we will be talking about how a historical actor led to changes in Singapore's natural environment between 1819 to 1945. The historical actor we will be introducing is Nathaniel Kentley. Now, you might be wondering who he is. Nathaniel Kentley was the superintendent of the Singapore Botanic Gardens in 1882.
He contributed to Singapore's natural environment by improving on the Singapore Botanic Gardens by adding new facilities and introducing a new labelling system.
He also made a considerable collection of herbarium specimens from Singapore and around the region, many of which can be found in Sing Herbarium today.
Appointed as superintendent, Kentley was responsible for surveying and gazetting the first forest reserves in Singapore and the Straits settlements. He also introduced the Forest Ordinance for better conservation of the Crown Forest and identified forest reserves. In 1883, the first forest reserves were identified and administered by the newly established Forest Department under the Singapore Botanic Gardens, with Kentley as its first director.
In 1908, the Forest Ordinance was passed, prohibiting trespassing or cattle grazing in a reserved forest. Any cutting, collecting, or removing forest produce such as soil, minerals, plant parts, honey, wax, and granule without proper authorization would be an offence. This protected the 15 areas in Singapore which were gazetted as forest reserves.
Moving on to our first primary source, it is the map of Singapore, dated 10th of November 1882. It shows the locations of the proposed forest reserves stated in the Forest Ordinance, which included 15 areas that were gazetted as forest reserves. Some more well-known places are Ang Mo Kio, Bukit Timah, Changi, and Jurong. This source gives further details on the locations of where the forested areas were.
Our second primary source is likely from an index page in a book about the Forest Ordinance 1908. It clarifies some of the terms which are used in the Forest Ordinance 1908. For example, the words classification mark refers to a mark placed on timber to denote its origin or the agency by which it has been handled.
The third primary source is the report that Kentley wrote, warning about the effects of deforestation in Singapore and the Straits settlements. He mentioned that under the Land Office, both the number and size of the forest reserves in Singapore reduced drastically after 1895, despite the enactment of the Forest Ordinance in 1909 which gazetted the reserves in the Straits settlements, prompting the Botanic Gardens to launch a campaign to save what was left of them.
Our fourth source is a secondary source. It tells us that Kentley paid much attention to the forests in Singapore. He provided detailed descriptions of the state of forests in Singapore, giving the sizes of the forest, the distance between the forests, and what each of the forests contained most of.
The fifth and final source is a secondary source, and it provides evidence of the scarcity of land because of the expanding gambia and pepper plantations, leading to Kentley's proposal of the Forest Ordinance.
There were several sources that were used for this investigation. NLB websites provided us with the most crucial and important sources, which assisted us with the majority of the report. Other websites that we consulted were the Biblioasia and NParks website. Thank you for your kind attention. We hope you enjoyed our video presentation.